And now, our feature presentation.
Hey guys, I'm Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I'm Krüz.
And welcome back to Subwoofer Entertainment, a determinedly drunk, geeky, and cheerful podcast where wolves we house and tree we entertain, bringing you all latest entertainment news. Sets a lot of the appreciation class talk about what's going on certain topics and see how people react to them in certain ways. So we had a very, very interesting holiday, didn't we? It was a very, very interesting holiday. My holiday was a little bit of a lonely time, but I was able to was trying to get myself back up together. Hey, Robert Gardner, get myself back together. But yeah, like how is everything going on with you guys?
Well, some mental health stuff relating towards school, but that's mostly taken care of. And
Gotcha.
It's my last couple days of school this week. I have 2 days to finish up my project, which it's not going to be fully complete because of mental health situation that I talked about on Twitter. But things are coming up, and I'm better regulating things like that, so that's good. I was told that even if I didn't do this project at all, or like whatever I did, I'd still pass the class, but that gave me reassurance that it's like, even if this project, the end result's crap, I'm still able to move forward. Reminds me, I need to pay tuition, or more so, I need to have my parents pay tuition, because I still live at home.
But,
holiday, Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I always think it's a great idea to have two screaming toddlers and screaming children run around the house. It's always not fun. I'm glad I made myself a couple of stiff beverages. So
yeah, apparently you needed them.
Luckily, we only had my sister's dog, new dog, running around. As you know, I think I might have said, sadly, we had to say goodbye to our dog Bean this year, our family dog. But my sister took in a rescue. I don't remember or know exactly what kind of dog it is, but her name is Mina. I don't know, share pictures or whatever. But she was just like running around the house whenever my sister wasn't home. She'd just be crying and whining, and but it was a cute dog. Very cuddly.
Well, I guess
we had a good time and all that. So
I guess there's one thing that I can tell you that I can talk to, even though my Thanksgiving was a little bit shitty this year, but I mean that goes without saying. It was shitty for a lot of people. I got my I went to the DMV. I spent 3 to 4 hours in the DMV because that's the amount of time you tend to spend there. I got my driver's.
Yeah, two is the minimum.
It's all sloth working at the DMV.
It is, and I got my driver's permit, guys.
Funny thing is, both times I've had to go to the actual DMV. In my area, it's taken me less than an hour both times.
The problem was not for me, like when I passed my driving test, apparently from in between the time that I got out of the test car and went back into the building, our number had already been called, and we waited for 2 hours and then went up to a desk and asked them if the number had been called, and they said, "Oh yeah, we called it a while ago." I'm like, motherfucker. So that was annoying.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I got my driver's permit. I don't I'm a little confused as to what it's asking me. Apparently, I need to get liability insurance, and I know
you do. I should know to drive. You do need insurance in the state of California,
even if I don't have a car.
Yeah.
Liability is injury stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what ours has.
You need to figure it out because it varies from state to state.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll talk to you more about it, about what I need to do. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be doing the one that's shopping around, but you can at least give me insight about it. I mean, we'll talk about that when we have time to talk about that. Now it's not the time. We have a show. S.E.T has been brought to you by Streamlabs. We are a non-profit podcast, but we use this as our go-to for making more episodes and help to be bigger and better than ever before by purchasing equipment or other visual means. Please don't feel obligated. We are not asking for money to pay the rent, but if you have the heart to donate, it is greatly appreciated. So yeah, I mean, like these past 2 weeks were just, you know, all over the place. I mean, like the emotions were high, the emotions were kind of played, you know. But yeah, I was really happy, you know, to get my driver's permit after passing the driver's test. The written test rather, because you know, I wanted to make sure that, you know, I passed the written test before I even think about, you know, and then I could take the driving test if I really wanted to, but I actually want to go to driving school because, well, I mean, makes sense, right?
Yeah, I would ask, like, I'd call around for like the driving school places around your area and like see what you do need. Like, explain that you have your permit, but you're unsure about like what liability insurance that you need. And
Yeah.
you know, it's always good to shop around and see what schools, you know, will give you better values, like what the drives are going to be like. Because you will have practice drives. A lot of driving school, a lot of it is classroom learning, but a lot of it is also behind the wheel. And do you live alone, Scarfy? I can't remember if you do or not.
We'll just say yes. I mean, technically I live with people, but I don't really pay attention to them. So yes, technically it is myself. It is me, myself, and I.
If they are licensed drivers, I know this is how it is in the state of Washington. You do need a set amount of driving hours with somebody who is a licensed,
right?
Who has a license. I think
it's
over the age of with 5
60.
years experience. So.
Oh yeah, they gave me the permit. And they told me to read the fine print below, which basically says you must have a person who has driven in the state of California to drive you and to instruct you while you're taking your driving test. Yeah. Like that's number one. But yes, I do agree, and I will definitely keep that in mind. Well, I mean, that's really all about what happened with my week. I don't think I think I'll probably start thinking about doing the driving test once the year is out. But you know, because we have a lot to discuss over, so we might as well get started. Krüz, music, you have quite a bit to talk about, don't you?
No, that I like to, but you know, it is what it is. We were gonna have more, but there was a little bit of a mislabeling with the release dates. So you'll hear about something else next week. It's a mystery.
Yes.
First off, we have Deftones, which it said that the album was called Black Stallion, but apparently it's White Pony X Black Stallion because White Pony was the third studio album from the band, and Black Stallion is the remixed version. So I think this, like, that package might be both albums, but I don't know how they're organizing this shit. Double albums they don't come up terribly often. I mean, you have, the last one I can think of is Five Finger Death Punches, but that was like, even then they had releases separately without remixes. But this one is basically all the White Pony songs remixed by various artists like Robert Smith of The Cure and Mike Shinoda of solo fame and formerly of Linkin Park, and various other EDM producers that I had not heard of before. So I just put up the one that I did know at least a little bit, Passenger, remixed by Mike Shinoda. That's the one I've linked here. The album is going to be released as it shows on the screen there. I don't know how small it is, but it will be on December 11th. And I decided
design, guys. Not you, Krüz, but December 11th is when this is coming out. Okay.
Yeah, I decided to go back and listen to the original, or at least some of the original Passenger, kind of like progressive rock-ish, or just like less about what the riff is, but more about the overall aesthetic of the song. But the first part of it, of the remix, Shinoda made it sound like a lo-fi beats thing, and then it was more electronic rock kind of thing. I mean, Deftones have always, I guess, been experimental. I haven't listened to them properly that much. I mean, except for that I said I listened to the original version of Passenger. But I do think they're Their singer is very good. I know that he collaborated with Lamb of God on Embers. Chino Moreno, that's his name. All right. So he's a very good singer. Yeah, so don't go into this expecting straight rock metal. It's all. I think it's more of like just a fun thing that the band has decided to do to partner with all these people. Kind of not quite the same, but kind of like Korn with Path of Totality being an entirely like dubstep based album, which I'm legitimately a fan of it. I know it's kind of a huge diversion from their original style, but they've come back. The context for that was also when the departure of Brian Welch. That's when he was not with the band anymore, and his reunion kind of led them going back to their original style. But anyway, Deftones, White Pony, Black Stallion coming out on December 11th. Some electronic rock stuff goodness coming your way.
Oh, I took a listen to this, and I was really surprised to hear like half of the song kind of begins very, very soft, and then like as soon as it reaches the halfway point, that's where it kind of kicks into high gear.
Well, it's prog rock or prog metal, kind of like Tool.
Yeah. Like I enjoy stuff like that. Like I think like this will definitely take to new heights. Yeah, I listen to the tones. It's very, very melodic, very, very haunting. But I hope that Deftones is doing what they're doing and that it works out well for them. At least that's what I have to say. Naka, what do you think?
I don't know. Kind of. It's hard for me to pinpoint down on experimental shit. But if the Deftones are established and they're working with established artists and people like Mike Shinoda, I think this is going to go over well, but it's sitting in a weird place for me right now.
It looks like there's been mostly positive, I guess, reception with the like ratio and everything's been good. I think that maybe Deftone fans have kind of maybe saw this coming of they've always been experimental, but experimental in a not just within the genre, but outside of the genre, and letting other people come in and take their songs and run with it. But again, for Korn's thing, artists like Skrillex, Kill the Noise, Feed Me, 12th Planet, other ones I vaguely know.
That's all I have to say regarding. Oh, sorry, Deftones. You were do you have more stuff for us, Krüz, I believe?
The next thing, this one is already available, but it popped up the Friday before our show this week. This is what's the fucking word? Collaborative effort between Jared Dines, the YouTuber, and Matt Heafy of Trivium, called the Dines X Heafy EP. And anyone following Trivium's Matt Heafy, either him with the band or his, he does stream on Twitch, does song requests, does gaming and other things. Either anyone following him and or the YouTuber Jared Dines for the past few years might have seen this coming because they've been, I guess, I don't want to say friends, but I guess they've worked with each other for quite a while. Jared Dines was invited to fill in for Matt when he took leave from Trivium to see the birth of his kids, which I think we talked about at some point earlier on our show. I have no idea what episode, but I believe we did note this. The two have collaborated. Yeah, I want to say because it was when it was during the Sin in the Sentence tour, so that would have been 2017 or 18. Since then they've collaborated on other videos. They did a Shred Wars, which is where they kind of compete to see who can do more fancy tricks on guitar. And now they have formally collaborated and put forth a kick-ass EP that appropriately to me sounds like Trivium with a Jared Dines kind of spin, because Jared himself has released music. There were 2 EPs. I don't know if I mentioned them on the show, but they're called, I think it's called The Dark and The Light. There are 2 different, The Dark obviously being darker metalcore, and The Light being more empowering, hopeful stuff. But yeah, there's a clear indication of his style, and they really meld together, him and Matt Heafy of Trivium. I don't know who plays all the instruments for all these. I guess maybe they just either use Trivium, the band. No, actually, I don't think they did, because that drumming doesn't sound like Alex Bent, but whatever. The point of the matter is that they put forth a really cool set of 5 songs. I've gotten to listen to them. Yeah, they're really good. And it is addressing mental health in a way. In particular, the lead, or like the most... This is the one that I just found. I don't know if there are videos for other ones, but for Dear Anxiety, it popped up on December 4th in the whole EP. All the 5 songs are available. Yeah, the message for Dear Anxiety really is kind of like kind of like how they said for Paranoid, Black Sabbath, like, I wish I could enjoy life, but it's too late. It's like, basically, anxiety is something that can mess with you a lot and like ruin happiness, and this is kind of like fighting back, like saying that fuck you for ruining my life kind of thing.
I know.
Really good music. I suggest you listen to it if you're a fan of either Jared Dines or Trivium, Matt, just anything. I think they really did a great job with this.
Gotcha. Naka, is something going on?
No, I'm just like I was saying I know the feeling, because yeah, that was pretty much me this past week.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I took a listen to it. It's go ahead.
I need to listen to more of Trivium, and this is probably... I haven't listened to Jared Dines pretty much at all, so this will be a stepping stone for me for both. Because I like it.
Wonderful.
Jared's, it's like, it's not all... Well, there's kind of a community of like metal YouTubers. Jared, Stevie T, Rob Scolland, I think the same. They either do a lot of, again, Leo, of course, Bog Studios, also who I shouted out. They do a lot of covers, and they also do original songs. Not all their stuff is producing music oriented, but rather they're just like engaging with the metal genres itself, making parodies of how music sounds to people who don't listen to metal and all that stuff. But yeah, so far for Jared Dines does a bunch of other things I haven't listened to, but the main EPs that I mentioned were the ones I do listen to, or had listened to.
Yeah,
very good.
I was listening to Jared Dines, and I was just trying to like figure out, so this is like they're basically battling each other out. That's all I have to say regarding Jared Dines and Matt Heafy. I hope their EP does very, very well. EPs are always a treat because you get to see. It's basically, I like to think of EP as like a test at their craft, how well they can sing, how well they can play their music. You know, I mean, we have freaking MTV Unplugged for that matter. EPs are always a good thing to see. Anything else you want to say, Naka? Or
nope. Let's move on.
In that context, I do think Jared and Matt definitely do work well together. They have complementing styles of how they play guitar and everything. And now...
All right, Krüz, take your time. Just take your time trying to swallow this all, because I know how much this hurts your soul in a bit. but seriously, don't go too slow. Go.
I ain't swallowing shit. Okay.
Hey man, spitters are quitters.
Shit. Here we go again. So, I originally added this and then took it out, but I'm just gonna say it now. It's bad enough that with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that Judas Priest and Motorhead were snubbed. Judas fucking Priest. 50 goddamn years. And you lose to some yuppie whatever fucking shit. No. I'm over it. The thing about like artists winning Grammys, it's a little less. I think metal heads are like a little less concerned about Grammys. I mean, ever since the whole Jethro Tull Metallica thing.
Yeah.
Where Metallica's And Justice for All. I don't know what the album for Jethro Tull was, but they lost to Jethro Tull in the Grammy finals. But And Justice for All was nominated, at least, I believe.
Just go ahead and read them off.
Yeah, the Grammy Awards, the ceremony itself on CBS will be on January 31st. And the three main categories are basically the end of night, what people care about, or let's say people care about. They're not people. Record of the year, you have Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, I mean Beyonce. Colors, Black Pumas. Rockstar by Da Baby featuring Roddy, Ricch. It's Ricch with two C's. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be how it's spelled, but whatever. People are stupid. Say So, Doja Cat. Everything I Wanted by Boring Eyelash. Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa. Circles by Post Malone. And Savage by Megan Thee Stallion. I don't think I've actually heard any of these songs. I've heard songs from Post Malone, but that's about it.
At least the good thing about this is that for some of these artists, you can at least judge them based on their craft if you haven't heard them at least.
Yeah, I mean, as far as just give it to anyone except Billie Eilish. Let's stop rewarding mediocrity in this culture.
You really think Billie Eilish is mediocrity, don't you?
It's more like that. I think that it was just an idea that they wanted to work. They wanted this emo teenager to make this, I know this is stale now, but it's make this r/I'm 14 and this is deep, but make that into music. And have her just mumble everything as if she just woke up and hasn't even had a goddamn cup of coffee yet.
Yeah.
This is a thing. It doesn't bother me a lot, but I like to turn this around on people who are like, oh, I don't like metal because I can't understand the words. I can't understand a single fucking thing Billie Eilish says. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, record of the year. Soon I mean by that song. Now I have album of the year. I left in all confusing notes here. Chilombo by Jhene Aiko, I believe. I think that's how you say it. Black Pumas by Black Pumas. Seriously, who the fuck is Black Pumas? They're Black Pumas, obviously. Everyday Life by Coldplay. I mean, Coldplay can fuck off. Yes. Volume 3 by Jacob Kohler. Who? Yeah, exactly. Collier, I think.
Yeah.
Collier. Whatever. Women in Music Part 3 by Haim. Future and Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone. I think that's an album I've actually heard of. Folklore by Taylor Swift.
You don't like Taylor Swift, do you?
God, what a pretentious... I'm not even going to say it. I love how much of a hissy fit it caused when I tweeted that, or not I tweeted, but other people also said that Tool, when they released Fear Inoculum, their album on the charts was above Taylor Swift's 1989, I think. And then eventually all these comments with nail paint emoji came up. It's Taylor Swift outsold. Yeah, because she sold 4 different versions of the same fucking album. Talking about artificially padding your stats, but it's enough to just ruffle their feathers and fuck with them. That's satisfaction enough. I don't care if they.
I know that
stats or whatever.
I know that Naka loves Taylor Swift.
I don't know. I'm
in what context?
Tired of most mainstream music. I don't love her. Stop putting words in my mouth. You fuck.
I don't know her. So, record of the year song. I forget what it is, and they mean record of the year versus album. But I thought record was song. Song of the year now. Okay, Black Parade by Beyonce. The Box by Roddy, Ricch, Cardigan by Taylor Swift, Circles by Post Malone, Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa, Everything I Wanted by Boring Eilish, I Can't Breathe by Her, and If the World Was Ending by JP Saxe featuring Julia Michaels.
Yeah, no,
it's just a pile of shite, is what it is. I did want to highlight.
I've heard a lot of people say The Weeknd was robbed.
Weeknd was robbed.
Yeah.
Oh, boo fucking who? Judas Priest was snubbed. Eat a fat piece of shit. Weeknd. I know The Weeknd's. I anticipated that his probably would have been on there, but you know, being snubbed by a nobody, I have no sympathy for these fuckers on the Grammys. It's like, again, even Scarfy didn't know who some of these people were. I have no fucking idea who most of them are. I only know Beyonce, Billie Eilish, Post Malone, and Taylor Swift. And that's because I hate most of them. And I still blame Beyonce for the power outage at the Ravens Super Bowl. You can't change my mind.
Yeah.
It was her fucking fault.
And then for what you think should have been talked about.
Well, this thing, it was on the they kind of just hide it. I think that when they are awarding like actual rock and metal Grammys, it's kind of at the point of the show where most of the people have left. Everyone's just gone home, and they're like, okay, you know, just go up there, do a speech, whatever. No one cares. But there are some interesting things in here. There's the highlights. I want to highlight there. I read it wrong. I wanted to highlight the nominees for Best Metal Performance, and they are Bum Rush by Body Count, Underneath by Code Orange, The In-Between by In This Moment, Blood Money by Poppy, and Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe by Power Trip. Now, I've listened to Body Count, and I've listened to the song, and I thought it was not the best song on the album, but I think that they have done a good job since their formation of, like, forging their kind of own style, not just being rap metal, but of trying to, like, forge their identity as a legit metal band, and I think they've definitely done that. Code Orange I've heard of. I don't really know much about them. In This Moment I do know of. I don't know this song particularly, but then again, that's probably, I think In This Moment kind of expected to be on this list. Poppy, no idea. Power Trip, heard of. You know, I would have thought at least that some other things might have flown under the radar and might not have sold as well as others, but I think that I don't know what the cutoff is, because this says the 2021 Grammys versus 2020, so I would have expected at least, I don't know, maybe Testament, maybe Night of the Witch, at least, just to throw one main song out there, but it is what it is, and I mean, I guess I would put my vote for Body Count because they've been on a hot streak as of late, and I don't know, not to discount the others, but you know, it's the Grammys. It's kind of like the Grammys aren't as, it's not as contested as like maybe the Game Awards or Oscars. It's like people, there's legitimate competition for those, whereas with the Grammys, it's like what pop artist has sold the most, and that's really it. And they kind of try to just like mail it in for like everything else that's not rock, or that's not pop, rather, that's not they want to just mail in the others and just like say, yeah, this is the best for this, blah blah blah.
Right.
And
did you give the last portion? I forgot if you did or not.
Yeah, that's the end of that section. And
Okay.
you know, Grammys, it's like I've stopped holding my breath for it a long time ago, unless, you know, something I care about is nominated and actually wins. Then it's like, yeah, cool. But it's like, I think people are more concerned about with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and how they've snubbed like legendary acts in favor of, well, nobodies, I guess.
Gotcha.
But now we're going to talk about game.
All right.
Game.
All right. But before we do, I have a couple things that I need to talk about. Something very big happened in the world of motorsport last weekend, and that was, I, along with racing fans around the world, wish Romain Grosjean a speedy recovery after a horrific lap 1 incident at Bahrain last week that saw his car go through some Armco barrier in turn 5, splitting the car in two and splitting the Armco barrier in two, rupturing the fuel tank. I want to commend all echelons of open-wheel motorsport for cockpit safety in the Halo system, which, it's the aero screen in IndyCar, that have helped drivers escape severe head injuries and even death this year alone. Without the Halo system, Romain Grosjean probably would not be here. Luckily, he was able to jump out of the car and walk away with burns on his hands and feet and nothing more. Unfortunately, he announced this morning that he will not be attending the finale race at Abu Dhabi next week for Formula 1. So last week's Bahrain Grand Prix was his final race, and a bit of a fiery way to go out, if I say so myself. I believe 2021 he is going over to IndyCar, but I need to do more research on that. And news that came out earlier this week was that current world champion and most winningest driver in Formula 1, Lewis Hamilton, tested positive for COVID-19 and was unable to race today and might not even be able to race next week. It all depends on what their testing situation is. So he was unable to compete in today's race in Bahrain in its outer layout, known as the Sakir Grand Prix. Substitute driver George Russell on his way to a win, but unfortunate things in Mercedes bungling things up cost him the win. But I know I'm talking too much about racing, but I'm going to move on after this. Congratulations to Sergio Perez, a.k.a. Checo, for getting his first win in Formula 1, the first win for Racing Point / Force India / Jordan since 2003, and the first Mexican-born driver to win in Formula 1 since 1970. I'll save some news about the Rolex 24 next week, because there's some big stuff there, but I need to talk about the Stadia for a little bit. It's a thing. I have it, and I've been playing it a lot. The Chromecast they provided me, which is like the Chromecast Ultra or something, whenever I'm playing Stadia on there, it looks better. There's less ghost frames and, kind of fuzziness than when I'm playing it on the browser. And I've had a little bit more kind of quote-unquote connection issues, but that's just, data streams coming in and out while I'm using my computer on the browser. Though minor, latency is very, very minimal. I've been playing The Crew 2. That has been kind of my go-to. It's been great to play through again because I have it on PC, but I have to run everything on low settings to get it to run because I need a newer system. But that's going to be down the line. It's great to play through again, and with a small player base, like less than 1,500 players maybe, I get platinum rank and summits every week, so that's fun. So, the controller's a combination of all three main system controllers, the current Xbox controller, the DualShock controllers from PlayStation's past, and also the DualSense to an extent, and the Switch Pro controller. The thumbsticks, the way that the thumbsticks themselves are designed, are that of the Xbox, where they are concave. But it's the whole kind of face of the controller is laid out like a PlayStation controller. The triggers have the feel of an Xbox controller, yet are marked L1 and L2, and the thumbstick click is L3, and then the same for the right side of the controller as well. The face buttons are that of the Nintendo Switch, with B being on the bottom, A being in the right in the middle, X being on top, and Y being in the center, the left middle. It also features an onboard capture button, though that is also present on the current iteration of the Xbox controller. and a Google Assistant button, which I haven't used because I haven't set that up. The D-pad is an enigma because it feels different to every other controller that I've used from first parties. So I can't easily describe it. But Stadia, because it's over the air, everybody's going to have different experiences, unfortunately, rather than getting a new system. Everybody's experiencing all the same things with, minor hiccups every now and then, like Call of Duty bricking some PlayStation 5 control systems, but Sony's going to be replacing those free of charge. For me, it's a good system because I finally have something where I can play video games in bed, because all of my systems are out in the room where I broadcast from. And the Switch is portable. But if I want to play something on my TV, I power on my Stadia controller, get it linked up, and I'm playing video games in bed. So that's fun.
Now I have a question for you. If you had to pay for the Stadia, which you didn't, would your opinion changed? Would your opinion would have changed?
See, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. It's tricky for me.
Can't tell. I think
No, because I understand, like, this was free, and I don't mean to put too much pressure on you, but it's like you say that this is a great system, but it's like at the same time you also didn't have to pay for it, so it's like,
yeah,
how can you tell like what
I say it's a great
really
system
feeling,
to me specifically, not for the whole horizon of people, because this is my personal opinion. And then again, I'm not an accredited video game journalist, so take what I say with a grain of salt.
Anyway.
I think you could be a video game journalist, but
yeah, I need to get
because you can beat the tutorial of Cuphead.
I'd have to get like a communications and journalism degree first, and I don't want to do that. That's more college that I don't want to do.
Gotcha.
It's an over-the-air system, so you have to be connected to the internet at all times, which can be a deal breaker for some. But if you have a good and stable connection, like I do, you're probably going to have a good experience. Again, because of the fact that it is not a dedicated console where you hook it up and it's the same experience as all the other people that have dedicated consoles, it's going to be a different experience for everybody, which can be kind of its downfall, in all honesty. Because I've seen people who have had nothing but plaguing issues with Stadia, and I've seen people who have had nothing but great experiences with Stadia. So it's a mixed bag system kind of deal, where some people have great experiences, others don't.
It really depends on I guess, as you said, relates on your internet situation. I think that, like, having something gifted to you versus having it by it yourself, the only difference is that the desire to go out of your way to get it yourself. I mean, I got a GameCube as a present when I was 8, and I thought it was like the best thing I'd ever gotten. Like, I loved the GameCube. I loved playing Need for Speed Underground 2, Melee, Mario Sunshine, and a bunch of other games. I thought, like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And at the time, I guess it kind of was. But I think it's another outlet for. I guess it's a gaming alternative versus main consoles or people who just want to pop onto an online.
There's
game
kind of a reason it's $100, because I think what I was given was the Stadia Premier Edition. So I'm gonna go on the quick Google machine and go to the Google store. I'm looking this up on my phone, by the way, because we can do things over the air. Woo!
But why are we looking at the Google machine? Just are you checking for something, or
I'm checking the prices right now because
Stadia?
even though it's the winter sale, yeah. So
let me take a look.
The Stadia Premier Edition, which is pretty much the only thing that they're going with, it is $99.99, but it comes with a Chromecast Ultra, which I believe is the 4K available Chromecast, and it comes with a Stadia controller.
I mean, shit. Wow.
I mean, $100.
I mean that's not bad. It's really not bad. No, because most consoles cost like 300 to 500 nowadays.
Mhm.
So,
And if you don't have the, if you don't have like a smart TV, like I don't have a smart TV in my bedroom, the Chromecast is great because I can just cast stuff from my phone to my TV, like YouTube.
mm-hmm.
And I'm checking the price for the Chromecast Ultra right now. I don't think, they're not selling it. At least not from what I'm seeing, or I could be looking at it wrong. It's probably just because I'm looking at it wrong. Where I didn't specify Chromecast Ultra.
Wrong.
Yeah, but enough on the Google Stadia. We need to talk about Call of the Sea. Well, me with video games, but Call of the Sea. This is a unique looking game, which means I'll give props to the Unreal Engine again, even though not a huge fan of Epic, but whatever.
Yeah.
The Unreal Engine can do magic with games from both a visual standpoint and a physics and gameplay standpoint. Looking at you, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. A first-person.
This is what you could have been.
A first-person adventure game set in the 30s, entirely set around puzzle solving to complete objectives. Reminds me of a game called The Witness. However, this is somewhat of a very different animal. Nora, the main character, as you see on screen, must explore an island in the South Pacific to find her husband, who went missing after embarking on some sort of expedition. A very unique debut title from out of the blue, a Madrid-based studio of about 12 to 15 people. Call of the Sea is a Microsoft exclusive, meaning Windows 10 PCs, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series S and X consoles.
Yes.
Which are apparently sold out fucking everywhere.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Especially scalpers.
I wanted one! Oh yeah, fuck scalpers.
And this will release on December 8th, so it's coming out on Tuesday. And because it is a Microsoft exclusive, it's probably going to come out on Game Pass, which I do want to touch on Game Pass for a second, because if you have a Windows 10 PC, you can get Game Pass. It's $9.99. You have this access of games. You don't own the games, but you have access to play them, and it's a constant, games get rotated out every couple months, but there's new games that come in, old favorites, stuff like that. It's also on, Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X. Also for $9.99. But if you pay $14.99, like I do for Game Pass Ultimate, you get Game Pass on both the Xbox consoles. You get it on Windows PC. You get Xbox Live Gold, which is needed for online play, which, I do a lot of that on Xbox. And recently, you will now have access to EA Access, which is, EA's kind of own alternate. It was EA's own alternative to Game Pass, specifically just for EA games, but that is included with the $14.99 price point. If you do a lot of gaming like I do, and you have both a Xbox console and a PC and Windows 10 PC, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is a great value, and if you know people like me, it's a great holiday gift.
Well, first off, I was gonna say for Call of the Sea, first off, that's a picture perfect frame. I don't know where I don't know where you found that, Krüz, but damn.
Google Images, baby. I mean, it's nice when you have this instead of a box art thing with the.
Yeah, and you want to know something funny? This game kind of reminds me of another game called, I don't know if you guys played it, but have you guys played a game called Jhene?
I have not.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't think I know.
It's not the band, it's the video game, and apparently, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it just kind of reminds me of this particular game in terms of visual style and going this way, going that way, that sort of thing. It's a very, very dreamlike substance. I don't know. I just get that feeling when I'm looking at a game like this. So for me personally, I think this game looks great visually. I don't know if I will ever pick it up. That's just personally me though, because well, one, I don't have an Xbox, so I can't really say that. But visually, it looks stunning. That's all I have to say about Call of the Sea, though.
I think I don't. I don't remember what the note at the bottom of the screen said, where it's like, "This is not gameplay" or whatever. Like, even if this is not gameplay, it looks absolutely gorgeous footage of, even if that's a cutscene, and like maybe the quality. Obviously, there's moments in games like that where you have a beautiful cutscene and then it drops to like gameplay, and you're like, okay, now you're playing. But it looked aesthetically, to me, looked a little bit like Sea of Thieves in the lush, but more when you're like on those islands versus when you're out in the open sea. There's like a very cool exploration based game. I want to say I don't exactly remember what The Witness was about, but the title is familiar to me. But the trailer for this did it got me interested in this, and so I don't have Game Pass currently. My one, not gripe with it, but one like worry is like, for me, it's like if I have like a save file in a game, and that game maybe gets taken off of Game Pass, like what happens to my my stuff?
No, your save, and like if you bought content for it, you still get to keep that. It's just you don't have the game license, to so to speak. So, games that are on, like me with Need for Speed Heat, I bought a physical copy, which I have now since sold because it's on EA Access. I got to carry over all my stuff because no matter, even like Halo Master Chief Collection, I used to own that game physically, and then once I got Game Pass, I'm just like, Halo Master Chief Collection is never coming off of Game Pass. So
yeah,
I sold my disc copy and everything carried over because it'll still show that you've played the game. It'll still have your save data in the cloud and on your hard drive and whatnot. So,
I mean, it's like, can you still go back to it if it's not if it's just removed from Game Pass? But for me, like, there's like some security, I guess, in owning the game, and I'm looking at getting whenever it happens, an Xbox Series S, which I know is entirely digital, so Game Pass maybe there's a little more incentive there. So I don't know like how I'm gonna like be able to hold everything.
Anyway, I must move on to
talk about some VR shit.
Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. A new Medal of Honor game? Well, that's a surprise. Didn't expect that out of 2020.
I'll take Medal of Honor over Call of Duty any day of the week, but continue.
Going back to its World War II roots, excuse me, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond is a VR-only first-person shooter title set for release on Oculus VR, so you can play it on the whatever the portable Oculus thing is from Facebook that's like $200, and you can also play it on like the Oculus VR store or whatever. And Steam VR, so the Valve Index, the Microsoft HoloLens, though I haven't heard much about that in a while. It's a VR title. You'll get it on a VR storefront on December 11th. While not originally set to be a VR title, once Respawn and EA met with Facebook executives, that's when the decision was made to make this a VR-only title. An interesting decision, but whatever. The main protagonist is an OSS agent and a fighter in the French Resistance, and as you progress through the game, you gain access to the gallery, a little library of short documentaries of World War II featuring veterans of the war. There is supposed to be multiplayer for this game, though I don't understand how that would necessarily... I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea online to make...
I mean, you have VR chat. I mean, I know that's not like a quote game, but it is a thing where you can interact with other people.
Yeah, I don't see this doing well enough multiplayer wise to warrant it being to have multiplayer, if you know what I mean. I fear this might be a flop, and this might just be a back marker of the Medal of Honor series. 8 years since EA published the Medal of Honor game, and making it VR only is very much a baffling decision. But then again, it's EA. Whatever. If you've got VR, it's coming out on December 11th. If you do have VR and have already ordered this game, be prepared to see the sequence of you jumping out of a freaking airplane and subsequently shitting your pants.
This game is best played on the turlet.
Uh-huh.
I do think that as much as people might not have had faith in the Medal of Honor, I don't think it was Medal of Honor that I played. It was just at a friend's house on his Xbox. It was, I guess, aviation based.
Ace
I don't know if it was a Medal of Honor. No, I think it might have. I might not remember what kind of game it is, but what franchise it's from, rather. It does look cool as far as taking what was in the only Call of Duty title I've owned, which was Call of Duty World War II, and I only did that for the campaign, which was excellent, but way too short. There's a section where you're sneaking through. Well, you're trying to infiltrate a German, basically your German dinner party, and you're trying to find a guy to communicate, get him a letter, but he gets found out, and then you have to sneak your way out. So it kind of takes more of the, I guess, quote, intimate moments of just hallway combat and the throwing the knife and everything. That looks cool to do, but I do understand that with this game, being successful on its own is going to be a little difficult. It might be a little niche, but it does look cool for what it is.
So I was just gonna say, this game, this is the first time in 8 years since we've had a Medal of Honor game. The last game that came out was in 2012, and believe it or not, if you check a look at its reviewer score, the first 4 games, I want to say, was the prime time, and I think it was mostly because because of this, it's probably when Call of Duty started taking over, and then Medal of Honor just kind of did its own thing. And, the reviews kind of went down, and then, but people really liked it a lot. So it's really good. I'm really glad to see this game back. So personally, for me, I want to see this game do well so that more Medal of Honor games could possibly be made, but we'll just have to wait and see. Personally, I really want to see this game do well, but that's personally me. Not much else to say about Medal of Honor, but I did share it with a friend of mine who has a VR system, so I think that he'll get more kick out of it than I will. But yeah, not much else for me to say, but that's about it. So anyway, hello?
Yes, no, we're still here.
Guys?
I'm just reading what Kyle's reading.
Oh, sorry. It's just I was hearing awkward silence for a little bit, and I'm like, oh.
It's because we're letting you speak. God damn it!
I know you're letting me speak, but after I'm done, it's there's a pause. I'm always worried if we're not sticking on topic. I know.
I would have said something.
I know,
yeah, I know it is a radio silence. Whatever the fuck, don't worry about it too much.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah,
you're just now noticing he's here. Wow.
Zach is apparently streaming right now too. Hello, Zach. Back to him and the crew.
Anyway,
I'm still waiting on them to pick up their major minor playthrough, because they have been through thick and thin with that quote game.
Anyway, I have to continue with a game that I don't have much to talk about because it's Puyo Puyo Tetris 2.
That's all it is.
It's
I mean,
Puyo
that's
Puyo
really
Tetris.
all it is.
Apparently it was popular enough to get a sequel, but the cross between Puyo, which kind of reminds me of Dr. Mario, but I don't really know which came first. And Tetris is an interesting one, but it works, apparently.
It does. It does work.
There's a new story from the first one. Same gameplay remains, but with new leagues and a skill battle mode. Use MP from your little team of 3 that you've created to activate power-ups and stuff. For me, not too much to talk about. It's releasing for damn near everything but the snack bar, which is the Stadia. And it releases for the Xbox platforms, the PlayStation platforms, and the Nintendo Switch on December 8th, with a planned Windows release sometime next year in 2021.
I'm sure some very dedicated fans are waiting with bated breath for that.
So I've kind of become a huge fan of Tetris. I've been playing Tetris 99 over and over, and I'm actually kind of getting a lot better at it. Like the best way to get I
was playing Pokemon, and I saw you on today.
I play a lot of Tetris, man. You'd be surprised. I played like 140 hours of Tetris 99. With Puyo Tetris, it's basically you basically start out a battle, and you either start off with I believe it's Tetris first, and then sometimes if you're in a sticky situation, they'll immediately switch to Puyo, and you try to basically defeat your opponent either with Puyo or Tetris, and it's a very interesting concept. Puyo Tetris is a very, very lovable game by the Tetris community, which I really am enjoying. Personally, for me, I love Tetris, so if I could have this as a game, I would totally get it. I don't know how well I do because Puyo is still it's a 4 in a row type game. It can be 4 in a box, 4 horizontal, 4 diagonal, or 4 vertical. So,
I didn't understand. Is that why during the trailer I watched, it has I couldn't really identify it, but it has different game modes like puzzle mode, Tetris mode, and then other, I guess, was Puyo mode.
Okay, so puzzle mode basically means it switches back and forth while you're battling someone on Tetris or Puyo. It'll switch back and forth from Tetris to Puyo and then back again while you're playing. So yeah, Puyo Tetris, guys. I love Tetris. So I still need to practice. I'm still trying to get number 1. I don't know why it's taking me so long to get 1 out of Tetris 99.
Get a victory royale. You'll get there someday.
Indeed, and Naka, I just want to say, you're breathtaking.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a city to burn.
We have a city to burn.
That's the only thing I know about this.
It's finally here. After 8 long years, it's finally here. Cyberpunk 2077.
Wow.
CD Projekt Red has a lot on their hands with this one, because it's been 5 years since Witcher 3 Wild Hunt initially released. So they've had a lot of time on their hands to make sure that this game was crafted to perfection. And they've even got Keanu freaking Reeves as a starring role. You're breathtaking! You're all breathtaking! So it's bound to be great. Cyberpunk 2077 is a first-person it's a first-person sandbox action game where you play as a mercenary called V, whose voice, face, hairstyles, body type, and modifications, fuck yeah, trans rights, by the way, background and clothing are customizable. Stat categories like body, intelligence, reflexes, technical, and cool are influenced by the character classes that the players assume, which are Netrunner, more focused on hacking, Techie, which is more machinery-based, and Solo, combat. V must consult a Ripper doc to upgrade and purchase cyberware implants. Black markets offer military-grade abilities. The rarity of any given equipment is shown by a colored tier system like Borderlands. V can take cover, aim, run, jump, double jump, and slide. Kind of typical action game stuff. Melee strikes can be dealt with close combat weapons. There are 3 types of ranged weapons. I got a lot of this from Wikipedia because there's it's a game that's been in development for 8 years. Of course, there's a lot to talk about.
It's been stuck in purgatory for God knows how long. Well, we do know how long.
There are 3 types of ranged weapons, all of which can be customized and modified. Powered, standard, tech, which penetrate walls and enemies, and smart with homing bullets. Ranged weapons are equipped to ricochet bullets in a target's direction and slow them down in bullet time. 4 types of damage can be inflicted and resisted: physical, thermal, EMP, and chemical. So, regular, fire, electrical, and acid, or slag. I'm comparing it to Borderlands. Again, weapon use increases accuracy and reloading speed, which is actually pretty cool. I like that little detail. The more you use a weapon, the better equipped you're going to get with it.
It's almost like it makes sense.
I don't see that often in other games, which are manifested in character animations. Gunsmiths repair and upgrade weapons. The game can also be completed without killing anyone, with non-lethal options for weapons and cyberware.
Yeah.
Cool twist.
For anyone who wanted to do a pacifist run.
Yeah.
Yes.
The open world metropolis, Night City, California, consists of 6 regions: the corporate city center, immigrant inhabited Watson, luxurious Westbrook, suburban Haywood, gang infested Pacifica, and the industrial Santo Domingo. Its surrounding area, the Badlands, can also be explored. V navigates these locations on foot and in vehicles, which I'll talk about vehicles in a little bit, which can be either in first person or third person. Typical modern day sandbox stuff. Pedestrians are vulnerable to vehicular collisions. Again, typical stuff. Depending on the location, law enforcement may be alerted if V commits a crime. There are available radio stations to listen to, which I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. The full day-night cycle and dynamic weather affect the way NPCs behave, which is pretty cool, gotta say. V owns an apartment in a garage. Night City features non-English speaking characters whose languages can be translated with special implants. Brain Dance is a device that allows V to undergo other people's experiences. Kind of like dream weaving and stuff like that. Branching dialogues enable interaction with NPCs and actions in quests like Mass Effect and CD Projekt Red and Bethesda games. Experience points are obtained from main quests and fuel the stats. Side quests yield street cred. Unlocking skills, vendors, places, and additional quests. Quests are acquired from characters known as fixers. Throughout the game, V is aided by various companions. There are consumables like soft drinks like Samurai Cola, which I'll get to in a bit. Are used for healing, and objects can be inspected in V's inventory. Minigames include hacking, boxing, street racing, martial arts, and shooting ranges. Player choice does lead to different endings. So we get more into the plot. Night City is an American megacity in the free state of North California, controlled by corporations and unassailed by the laws of both country and state. It sees conflict from rampant gang wars and its ruling entities contending for dominance. The city is reliant on robotics for everyday aspects like waste collection, maintenance, and public transportation. The city is relying on... its visual identity is derived from 4 eras it underwent: austere entropism, colorful kitsch, imposing neo-militarism, and opulent neo-kitsch. Kitsch. Don't know. I've never said that word before. Or maybe I have and I just didn't know how it was spelled. Homelessness...
Kitsch. Yeah.
Yeah. Homelessness abounds but does not preclude cybernetic modifications for the poor, giving rise to cosmetic addiction and consequent violence. These threats are dealt with by the armed force known as Psycho Squad. Trauma team can be employed for rapid medical service. Because of the constant threat of physical harm, all citizens are allowed to openly carry firearms in public.
America!
Wow.
I just had to quickly look it up. Kitsch means German for like high art. Trauma team. God, I just saw Grump Out release the Jello Room bit. That was funny. Anyway.
So, that's a lot to get through and process, yeah? Well, the world is beautiful, the gameplay is stunning, and the attention to detail is immense. And there is so much to do! CD Projekt Red knows what the fuck they're doing with Cyberpunk 2077. Not only have they basically said, fuck yeah, trans rights, by allowing players to customize themselves in any way possible, there's other details that make the game more accessible, like colorblind modes and whatnot. They even have a streamer mode built in to the game that will allow content creators to play the game and have as little copyrighted music play as possible to help creators prevent getting copyright claims on YouTube or the dreaded DMCA stuff on Twitch, which is great.
Yeah, why aren't more games doing that? Well, I guess games that are more might be more stream oriented, or games that they anticipate might be more favored by streamers.
Mm-hmm. I do want to bring something up. There is controversy surrounding CD Projekt Red promising that there will not be crunch time, even though crunch time is inevitable. The only thing I can say is they made a promise they could not keep, and they did not expect a pandemic to happen. So, unfortunately, they did have to fall on their promise of not having crunch time, which sucks, but CD Projekt Red, I hope, is paying their employees accordingly. But we got to get into the marketing for this, because they've been doing a great job with this, with Rockstar Energy drink tie-ins, with a chance to win a customized Ford Mustang, and, little comics that you can unlock, and an exclusive Samurai Cola flavor, which I need to find more of, because it's great.
You should keep one as a souvenir, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna stop making those.
Well, I know what the point is, because it's not like a beer. It doesn't age well in the can. I imagine if it's as a cola.
That's the point. You're not supposed to drink it. You're just supposed to keep it.
And I'll probably rinse it out and just keep it on the shelf or something.
Probably.
I did with some mead bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Authentic mead from Denmark.
Even great social media presence, and even the inclusion of real-life vehicles. It's not 15 minutes of content with 88 years of multiplayer content. It is not like that. That is not how CD Projekt Red works. Even the inclusion of real-life vehicles in the game. Currently, a Porsche 911 from the 930 generation, a Porsche 930 Turbo, has been confirmed to be drivable in Cyberpunk 2077, even with Porsche adding in, they did their own little commercial for it to tie it in, with hopefully more real-life manufacturer representation coming in the future. But if you're more into two wheels, Keanu Reeves' own motorcycle company, Arch Motorcycles, will have a few bikes in the game, including a very special Method 143.
And for the record, Keanu Reeves has come back in a big way. He really has.
I still find it funny that my dad, I don't know what it is. He just hates Keanu Reeves because he's like, this guy can't act. I don't know what it is, but I just find it funny.
I mean, has he seen Bill and Ted? I mean,
I don't know, honestly. I actually don't know. I haven't either, but
yes, it's been delayed several times over the years. Yes, we have seen various console generations come and go. Yes, we finally fucking saw Final Fantasy VII Remake come out since it was announced.
Oh, God.
A lot has happened since its announcement in 2012, okay? A lot has happened.
Oh, yeah.
But December 10th can't come sooner, and unfortunately, I can't play the game right now because I don't have the money. Cyberpunk 2077 will be available on Xbox, PlayStation, Google Stadia, and Windows. If you choose to get it on Windows, go ahead and support CD Projekt Red in full by buying a copy on GOG, their own website. And I love GOG because they have a lot of older games on the website that you can't really find on other platforms. I'm just going to look up GOG right now.
And I was going to say, I don't know what DRM is.
DRM is Digital Rights Management. So it's basically, it's copy protection, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, there's stuff on here that you can get. The reason why I say buy it on GOG is because most of the games on GOG are DRM free, which, it's a risk for piracy, but with CD Projekt Red's games themselves, they get all the money because with games with other services like Steam, Origin, BattleNet, Uplay, Valve gets a cut for any game purchased on Steam. EA gets a cut for any game purchased on Origin, so on and so forth. Let's see, I need to... Oh, okay, so there's a game series called Phantasmagoria, which is point-and-click FMV adventure game from the mid-90s. Like, Phantasmagoria 2 came out in 1996 and was 5 discs back in the day. However, that's on no other platform. Because part of GOG is also keeping old games available for purchase. So, CD Projekt Red I find them to be a great company. So, this game comes out December 10th. There's a lot to do in it. And to help with, developer costs and all that kind of stuff, buy it on GOG. Support CD Projekt Red in full.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about something. I've been seeing a lot of advertising for this game. I've been seeing a lot of Twitter updates on their official Twitter account. I want to know, as someone who has never heard of the game until this year, just now, why should I pick up and play this game? Just in your eyes, Naka.
Well, for me, I want to see what they've done over 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Kiri brings up that GOG stands for Good Old Games and was made to remake old games to be able to run a new technology, hence why you can get Phantasmagoria 2.
Also, hi, Kiri.
Yeah, this is the one you talk about who made our thingies, right? Mm-hmm. This is the hello, Paula friend.
I mean, there's other games that have come and gone, like Crackdown, where it's futuristic open world. People have done digging. This game is like the map for for Cyberpunk 2077. It is fucking huge. Like, I think it's 255 square kilometers or square miles or something like that, compared to 105 that GTA 5 is. So it is
I guess
massive. It's a massive undertaking with a giant story. And for me, it's, because a lot of the vehicles in the game, they are like of 70s and 80s old American kind of crap boxes, like the Dodge Omni, Plymouth Horizon, that kind of stuff, that make my little heart flutter because, they're new versions, but they're also old, kind of crappy American cars that were made in the 70s and 80s. Because it's a total mishmash of stuff. Because the music, there's a lot of, music created for the game that I've heard, and it's awesome. Keanu Reeves alone is a selling point. There's so much in Cyberpunk 2077.
So doing some research, this game received more pre-orders than The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Which 1/3 of PC sales were done through GOG. So yeah, I think a lot of people are excited to play this game, and I don't blame them. Personally, okay, I'm trying to figure out, it's like, I heard about this game, it's an action role-playing game, why should I play it? And it's not that I don't want to play it, it's more so the fact that, like, why is this like it almost feels like this is a game you need to play before you die. I heard, like, there's many good things about it. People are saying, like, oh, it's probably going to be one of the best games ever made, all that good stuff. So it's like,
yeah,
I'm trying to figure it all
out. This is kind of based off the Cyberpunk tabletop games and books, so that's where the name Cyberpunk comes from. But the fusion of the massive open world, the various endings that you can do, all the body modifications to really create your own unique character. There's too much. There's so much,
Apparently so.
But for now, I need to give my voice a little bit of a break, but we have some mini announcements to talk about, specifically Destiny 2 is being released on next gen with enhancements on December 8th, and Brigadine, The Legend of Runerja.
Yeah.
That's coming
Sounds
out on
about right.
PlayStation 4, which was previously a Switch exclusive, on December the 10th. Though I feel like it's gonna get watered down because of Cyberpunk 2077. Aren't the Game Awards also on December 10th?
No, well, yeah, they're on December 10th, but we already talked about that, and we're going to discuss the results.
There's a
next
lot
week.
of stuff happening on December 10th.
Apparently so, yeah. So personally,
last
I'm
day
excited
of
for. I'm excited for Cyberpunk 2077, and apparently there's an anime coming out in 2022. Would you watch it, Naka?
Probably.
All right, well,
It's a ways
I
out.
mean, yeah. So
All right. Let's get into some really big news concerning Warner Brothers while I go use the restroom.
Okay, so I'm going to have to request the floor. I would like to have no interruptions while I'm talking because this is very, very important.
I mean,
news.
I'm just going
Very,
to tune into
very
my phone
important
while I
news.
go pee. So I'll be right back.
That's fine.
This is
fine.
This is a big fucking drop of like.
Oh boy, do we have a lot to say about this. It seems that in a historical move in Hollywood from Warner Brothers, it was reported on Thursday of this week that they will be releasing their entire 2021 film slate to run concurrently in both theaters and HBO Max, starting with Wonder Woman 1984. Scheduled to release on Christmas, December 25th. Every film scheduled to be released in 2021 will run for those who are able to go to the movie theaters, and those who are unable to go will have it released on HBO Max. However, films released on HBO Max will only be available for 1 month after its initial release date, and will disappear once the time limit is up. Aside from Wonder Woman 1984, films include the Suicide Squad sequel directed by James Gunn, The Matrix 4, Dune, Godzilla vs. Kong, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Other films include Little Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry, Mortal Kombat 2021. That is the new version. Those Who Wish Me Dead, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, In the Heights, Reminiscence, Malignant, The Many Saints of Newark, King Richard, and Cry Macho. I do want to say some of the titles that are on this particular page are not on there, so keep in mind. This is just me explaining the titles. Warner Media CEO Jason Kilar said in a statement, after considering all available options and the projected state of moviegoing throughout 2021, we came to the conclusion that this was the best way for Warner Media's motion picture business to navigate the next 12 months. More importantly, we are planning to bring consumers 17 remarkable movies throughout the year, giving them the choice and the power to decide how they want to enjoy these films. Our content is extremely valuable unless it's sitting on a shelf not being seen by anyone, so we believe this approach serves our fans, supports exhibitors and filmmakers, and enhances the HBO Max experience, creating value for all. So, as you can see, we have a lot to talk about. The first question obviously is, do we have to pay extra to see it on HBO Max, similar to how Disney handled Mulan 2020 on Disney Plus? But probably the biggest question that almost everyone is asking is, what's going to happen to movie theaters? I'll be honest. I'm in one of those camps that don't want to see movie theaters disappear completely. Why do I say this? Really think about it. You have an airborne virus that is affecting the entire world. Until we have a vaccine that drops the cases down, Warner Brothers realizes that not everyone can go to a movie theater. Safety procedures and capacity limits are otherwise, so they have to start thinking outside the box. But because of this, most people are bound to go for the streaming service. One, because it's cheaper, because you're paying per month, and two, it's in the comfort of your own home, meaning you don't have to go anywhere, virus or no. Unfortunately, though, this also brings up another issue. The people who have very strict budgets, who can't afford the streaming service, or they have one that they would be willing to give up, and most people already have Netflix. I'm concerned with that, and I'm also concerned with the sanctity of movie theaters. There's a huge difference between watching a film in a theater versus watching it at home. The experiences are radically different. But unfortunately, most film companies don't look at film as an art form. They look at it as a form of entertainment first and foremost, which is fine. But where it becomes a problem is that some people like me don't see films just for entertainment. It's art and entertainment. Unfortunately, The reality sadly remains that because this is happening, this also means every single one of WB's films will be immediately piratable after release on HBO Max, meaning a lot more revenue loss from Warner Brothers. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack with this decision. And quite frankly, I'm more hesitant than I am excited about it. This pandemic only accelerates it towards this direction. And whose fault is it? Not really theirs. But with the decision made, does this mean the death of movie theater? Does this mean that other film companies like Disney and Universal will probably follow the same suit if they haven't already done so? Only time will tell. Everyone's preferences are different. Not everyone is the same, and there's no law saying that Warner Brothers has to listen to anybody. But we should take this decision and be wary and not be complacent in the following days to come, because this is very, it's huge, guys. It's huge. So, that being said, Naka, Krüz, what do you have to say about this one?
I have heard that Wonder Woman 1984 will not be available to watch if you get the free trial, so you will have to pay for HBO Max in full to watch Wonder Woman 1984.
That's interesting.
Honestly, this is the only way that they're going to be able to get some revenue back from making all these goddamn films.
Yeah.
Because by just delaying a theatrical release, that's more and more money that they're losing and losing and losing and losing and losing. From a financial standpoint, this is the next best step. Yes, there will be rampant piracy. It sucks. But
some money is better than none.
Yes, exactly. They need to recuperate some of their funds. So, bring back drive-in theaters. Yeah, that's what I've been telling people for years, but no, that's a dumb idea.
Well, we have drive-in theaters, but you also have to keep in mind, like, drive-in theaters only ever show movies during the nighttime. They can't show it during natural day.
Yeah, guess what? It's fucking winter.
Well,
sun goes down at 4.
Well, even still, they have to do it at a certain time, and they have to build the movie theater in a certain way to where the sun isn't shining in their eyes. So
again, it's winter.
Yeah.
Sun goes down at 4. All you need is a projector, and you can just have like a little radio to put the sound in. Yes, it's not the surround sound experience, but everybody can stay in their cars. They can bring blankets. They can bring their own fucking snacks if they want to. But if they want that hot, buttery popcorn, they can pay for that. And, they can quickly get out of their car, skedaddle over onto concessions, get the popcorn, skedaddle back to their car, and then sit back in their nice seat where nobody's in the way. It's so easy, okay? It's so easy to bring back drive-in theaters. Everybody says, no, it's a dumb idea. It's not a dumb idea.
It's not. It's hold on, relax. It's not that it's not a dumb idea. It's more so the fact that movie companies, movie production companies, Hollywood wants to make the most money out of us. That is what it is. That is how they think. That is what they want. I get it. Drive-in theaters are a perfect, substitute, but it only helps so much. And 9 times out of 10, unless it's a multiplex drive-in theater, it's only ever showing one movie. So, what else are we supposed to do? So, I get it. Like, one person said that we could actually end up seeing like more of the commercial and the entertainment films could be on the streaming service while the artistic films could still remain in movie theaters. And I personally kind of like that idea. I think that would, if that ended up being the case, I personally would really like that idea. I would hope it would get to that point, but we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, guys, like it's just one of those things where I just feel like, okay, well, this is what I want, and this is how I want to do things. So, I'm a little disappointed, I will have to say, because I really wanted to see Dune in theaters. And, Dune is a fantastic movie, and this all starts with Wonder Woman 1984. Krüz, what do you have to say regarding this?
That's another question that Carrie brought up. I don't know how HBO Max works outside the US. I don't know if it's either one available. I've never never been to Poland. I've meant to. Some friends of mine have been there. I spent a few months in Hungary So I didn't watch Netflix while I was there, but I mainly watched YouTube. But yeah, I know internet services work differently but I guess I can spout out about the VPNs and like you can mask your identity and like view different countries' services by being in their like what's it server. As far as like for me, the thing with drive-in theaters I thought would be super easy is because a lot of times when you buy movie tickets, you can have like a barcode on your phone and you can just scan that. But the only time I've seen a drive-in theater in person was when I was visiting Marist, which is in Poughkeepsie, New York. I didn't end up going there. I ended up going to McDaniel,
Right.
which is
So
in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Maryland. But yeah, I think it really depends on if you want to see a lot of these movies. The one that caught my attention was The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I didn't know that was planned. The Conjuring, the first one, is probably one of my favorite horror movies, along with Hereditary. The Conjuring 2 was pretty good, a little more on the action side. Not nearly as good as the first Conjuring, but it was still pretty damn good.
what is fantastic about this particular image is that this was the first time for some people anyway, this is the first time that they were hearing that a Matrix 4 was actually being produced, and it's been a while since the Matrix Revolution. So, but like I said, it's
there's
a
that
tough,
with
it's a tough
movies
situation
being
for
released
everyone.
all at once. You have to drop all these titles all at once. They're all they might deserve their own time, but that's not something that we can really, I guess, afford in these times.
Now I do have to point something out. Yes, we are actually based in the United States. So I know that HBO is not in the UK, not in the UK. Instead, they have Sky, which is basically the HBO equivalent, if you want to call it that. Sad but true, which is a little upsetting because I think that HBO should be like an international thing, but you know how HBO tends to be. I guess I actually share an HBO account with a friend of mine. Yeah, I know. I pretty much own like every streaming service known to man. I have Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Video, Apple TV Plus, Spotify, and HBO Max, and I have Hulu too. So yeah, I'm pretty decked out. I am pretty decked out. So yeah, I am not exactly too sure how it's going to work in Australia. I would assume that Australia has their own streaming service that they're going to put on HBO Max. We'll just have to wait and see how they handle things.
Yeah.
Let me take a look.
Speaking of, curious question. I don't know if what's the difference between HBO and HBO Max. Like if there's more available content.
HBO Max is a streaming service. HBO is the channel. So.
Oh, HBO Max. Okay, well,
And then there's HBO Go, but I'm pretty sure HBO Go is no more, and it's just HBO Max now. So.
Yeah, I know. All I know is that the Discovery Channel is launching their own streaming service in 2021, apparently.
So, but like I said, it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to talk about because I don't want to see movie theaters go away. Like, don't get me wrong. I would love to see AMC theaters like blast off out of existence because
I know you're vendetta against them. I don't
because of their corporations and how they are handling the business and how they're handling their employees. But at the same time, I don't want movie theaters to completely go away either. So
that's another thing. I don't think theaters wholesale are going to go out of business. And I think, wholesale. I mean, and that's another thing. And that relates to music too. With like, for me, my experience, like these venues, like a lot of ones that I frequent, like the Fillmore, the Maryland one, and Baltimore Soundstage. Baltimore Soundstage actually has started doing some drive-in shows. I don't because I've been outside that venue and don't know how they open up the whole building, but apparently they do. And yeah, venues that rely on live music, they've had clearly a rough go of it. But even if there are ones that go out of business, I don't think that they're that venues like that are going to disappear entirely. I mean, even if the ones that are in place go out of business, I don't think that, new ones will pop up if they have to. Hopefully that's not the case. But yeah.
If HBO Max doesn't appear on Australia, there's always Foxtel. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying it either. Australia has a pay television company called Foxtel.
Foxtel.
It used to be called NXC Australia Party Limited, I believe, but they're just calling it Foxtel because it's just, PTY, so I assume that's party. So HBO Max, HBO Go is basically when the streaming service, like I think I don't know how HBO Go works. I'll have to check and see which one goes. But yeah, I mean, so basically, starting on Christmas, December 25th is when we're going to start. Is when this is basically going to start. It's going to start off with Wonder Woman 1984, which I'm pretty sure both of you, in some form or fashion, are going to see in a certain way. I'm just going to say that, and I would hope you guys would both see it. But, we'll just have to wait and see what they do. Yeah. But Warner Brothers, it like I said, it's a tough situation for everyone involved. It doesn't make the situation any easier. And I would hope that movie theaters don't miss out on this opportunity, because I don't want them to go away. I don't want them to close out. Which is kind of funny, seeing how movie theater companies basically have it in their contract saying that, they can't really stream any films that were originally supposed to be streamed on service if it wasn't original content distributed. That's why you didn't see films like The Irishman playing at AMC or Cinemark. So it's interesting. So we'll just have to wait and see what this does. I'm kind of concerned because I think Disney and possibly Universal, if they haven't already done so with their streaming service Peacock, I am pretty sure they're probably going to follow suit. They could follow suit if they haven't already done so. I mean, hell, we're getting Soul on Christmas for free with paid subscription on Disney Plus. So, like I said, we'll just have to wait and see. Is there anything else you want to say regarding this, or not really?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Well,
again,
I guess
drive-in theaters are easy to build and manage.
Again, you should know they want to make the most money, and that's how capitalism works. So,
drive-in theaters could have made.
I don't like it either, but that's just the way the world works. So
it's a shame that the culture changed away from that. That was our first mistake.
Yes, but if we lived in a capitalistic society, they would know that, hey, if we build drive-in movie theaters, we can recuperate movie theater funds so people can go out and still socially distance, can keep in their cars, and they can still pay to see new movies. It's a win-win for people. They get to go out and do something and feel like it's normal, but also at the same time, we get to show off our movies, and we get to recuperate some of our funds that we spent making these movies.
Yeah, but that's too easy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. People are stupid. It's just like these upcoming movies. They are all terrible.
The French.
Some of the movies are... I don't even know how much time I can spend on them. They look like shit. Like 3 of these movies look like absolute shit. And I have to talk about them. So let's go.
You poor soul.
Yeah. All right, let's get started with our first film. The Stand-In is an upcoming American comedy film directed by Jamie Babbitt and written by Sam Bain. It stars Drew Barrymore, Michael Zegan, T.J. Miller, and Holland Taylor. Sadly, there's not really much to talk about when it comes to the synopsis. The film follows the story of a disaffected comedy actress and her ambitions stand in trading places. Comedy hijinks ensues, and that's about it. The film is directed by Jamie Babbitt, known for her very sporadic film resume. But again, like, there's not much for me to talk about. There really isn't. I don't know much else to say. It looks like an Amy Schumer film. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, it doesn't do anything for me. However, if you're interested in passing the time, the film releases on December 11th. And Krüz, Naka, anything you want to say?
I wasn't gonna say it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it is Amy Schumer-ish. And if you, I forgive you for missing this, but apparently, according to the movie poster, it's Drew Barrymore, a la Parent Trap formula, apparently.
And Jack and Jill.
Yeah, it's kind of like a movie that it's just there. It doesn't really do much. It's just there. It's kind of like, come on. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
I mean, it's 2020. I mean, there's really not much to say here. But yes, the reason why Drew Barrymore is listed twice is because she plays two characters just in different makeup. So, yeah.
I love Parent Trap, I said.
Anyway, Naka, do you have anything else you want to say or no?
Nope.
All right, let's
Again,
move
all
on
these movies look not good this week.
Yeah, yes. Let's move on to our next not good film. It doesn't get any better from here with this one. Arch Enemy is a 2020 independent superhero mystery thriller film written and directed by Adam Egypt Mortimer, based on story Mortimer created with Lucas Passmore, and get this, produced by Elijah Wood. Joe Manganiello, who also produced the film, is starring in the lead role alongside Skyland Brooks, Paul Scheer, Glenn Howerton, Zoli Griggs, and Amy Seimetz. I guess it's best to explain the plot. A teenager meets a mysterious man named Max Fist, who claims he lost his superpowers after arriving from another dimension. Together, they take to the streets to wipe out a vicious crime boss and the local syndicate. And again, that's it. That's all there is. I'm not sure what else to say. It seems like every other superhero film I've ever seen. What makes this any different from a Marvel or DC film? But if you're interested, the film releases on December 11th. Unless it gets a critical reception, I find myself very uninterested. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I'm downplaying an independent film, but I'm sorry, guys. These films are just not doing it for me this week. It's just...
Yeah, well, we all have shit weeks. I think that this one... The most similar hero film I can compare this to is probably Shazam, actually, which I thought was actually... It was quite entertaining, but this is kind of like relying on a guy who is from another planet and doesn't have his powers in Earth. If nothing else, is complaining that Earth whiskey is weak. And I'm like, well, all right, whatever. It looked the most interesting out of the ones that were not in. It looked the most interesting to me in the pardon the one you probably like, which I do think was very interesting. The second most interesting, I guess I'll say, one of the films that are coming up, Arch Enemy, about a superhero who's kind of like fallen from grace and all that. Produced by Elijah Wood. I mean, I don't know how many movies he's produced, but I guess that's another question. But it looked interesting premise. Probably isn't going to do as well as I would hope, but yeah, that's another question I have for you. I don't know how many movies were produced or anything done by Elijah Wood.
Yeah, apparently so. Naka, do you have anything you want to say regarding this movie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I really don't.
Yeah.
Especially about this next one, because I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh no,
all right,
the school dance is screwed.
All right, let's return to a little bit of normalcy. The Prom is a 2020 American musical comedy film directed by Ryan Murphy and adapted to the screen by Chad Pagulin and Bob Martin. From their and Matthew Sklar's 2018 Broadway musical of the same name. The film stars Meryl Streep, James Corden, Nicole Kidman, Keegan-Michael Key, Andrew Rannells, Ariana DeBose, Kerry Washington, and Joe Ellen Pellman. Dee Dee Allen and Barry Glickman are New York City stage stars with a crisis on their hands. Their expensive new Broadway show is a major flop that has suddenly flatlined their careers. Meanwhile, in small town Indiana, high school student Emma Nolan is experiencing a very different kind of heartbreak. Despite the support of their high school principal, Mrs. Green, the head of the PTA, has banned her from attending the prom with her girlfriend Alyssa, who is Mrs. Green's daughter. Oh. Well, that's an interesting one. When Dee Dee and Barry decide the Emma's predicament is the perfect cause to help resurrect the public images, they hit the road with Angie Dickinson and Trent Oliver, another pair of cynical actors looking for a professional lift. But when their self-absorbed celebrity activism unexpectedly backfires, the foursome finds their own lives upended as they rally to give Emma a night where she can truly celebrate who she is. The film is directed by Ryan Murphy, who's had a hand in both making film and television, being creators for Nip Tuck, American Horror Story, Glee, among others. Sadly, again, not much for me to say here. I never saw the original play, but hey, maybe this is something up your alley. The film had a limited release on December 4th and will release on Netflix on December 11th. Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that, people need to be more acceptive of LGBTQIA plus people,
yes,
it's a boring, generic, shitty Hallmark movie.
It really kind of, I feel like and I said this before we went live, it's kind of like Mean Girls, but bad. And as much as people are I don't care what they say about this. I'm not myself identified with LGBTQIA, but I feel like there are good and bad ways to represent just represent the lifestyle. And I think that this one, it's good for like romanticizing it, I guess, but the way, I don't know how it comes across as being like, it kind of is overshadowed by the musical side of it. I feel like that they're trying to create the event, of course, after the PTA apparently canceled it, but I don't know. Right. I just feel like it's just a little like.
I mean, I'm not gonna downplay, how we always need representation matters. I'm not gonna downplay that. I feel like this film could at least, it'll attract some people. I assume it will probably attract the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of theater majors, because I know people like theater, and but
I guess I want to say that the questionable choice was making it like a musical. I'm like, that kind of like takes away from like the
it is based off
message of it.
Well, I thought it was based off a musical. That's why. So it's just.
Well, I also didn't see the original musical. So there's that.
So, all right. Well, Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's time for Minari.
Yes. Okay. Now we move to the good stuff. Finally, looks like A24 is producing another film. Only this time we're going to be enjoying what this film has to offer as well. Minari is a 2020 American drama film written and directed by Lee Isaac Chung. It stars Stephen Yoon, Han Ye Ri, Alan Kim, Noel Kate Cho, Yo Young Jun, and Will Patton. It had its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival on January 26, 2020, winning both the U.S. Dramatic Grand Jury Prize as well as the U.S. Dramatic Audience Award. Our story follows a Korean-American family that moves to a tiny Arkansas farm in search of their own American dream. The family home changes completely with the arrival of their sly, foul-mouthed, but incredibly loving grandmother,
who smells like Korea.
Again, sadly, not much to say regarding the plot, but it seems like the film is getting good reviews coming from A24, who has a habit of knowing what is art and what isn't. So quite frankly, I'm excited. I just wish there was more for me to say about the plot because the trailer at the very least looks very interesting and beautiful to look at. I'm pretty sure the plot of trying to make it into today's modern day America is something we can all contend, and especially given our current situation right now. It is scheduled to have a limited release on December 11th, but we'll have a wide release on February 12th of next year. Hopefully by that time, the film will be watchable given the circumstances that we are currently dealing with. Naka, anything you want to say regarding this? Or,
I mean, they call it the American dream. Because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Sleep to believe it. No, but really.
Yeah.
I think we talked we talked about this a couple weeks ago, remember? It was our episode after we had all that copyright bullshit and we brought this up.
I do remember seeing this trailer at least before.
Yeah, we watched it together, remember?
Right, that was during yeah. Now I remember why. Yeah.
I mean,
no, but this is
a fun film, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very. I know it's artistic and that sort of thing, but I think it will look like a great time, especially coming from the likes of A24, which again, as I said before, they make really good stuff. But that's personally my take. So
I do see how it is. It looks like with them moving to America, but not entirely knowing what that means. And it also depends on where in America you move. You're in Arkansas, in the middle of Deep South. You're like, the thing I guess that struck me in the trailer was that kid giving them the weird eye at church. It's like, what is this different looking family doing here? Kind of like, yeah. But America, like, they've always had people who are coming from other places looking for a better life, and a family just trying to make it work. I mean, that is kind of, it's not the American dream, but it's just kind of the American reality, I guess. You have people who are looking for a better life, and they don't see what they hear on the, they don't see streets paved with gold. I mean, that's not what America is. But
no, it isn't.
You make your own. Yeah, you make your own here, and I think it's a very much like going to be a very personal, family oriented, not family oriented in terms of like how tame it is, but I mean like family oriented and like how a family makes it work with a new life in America. And like the grandma smells like Korea. A bunch of those little moments. It does look like a little bit of a heartwarming film, at the very least.
I think so too. So do we want to move on to probably the biggest film of this week?
Speaking of HBO Max.
Yes, indeed. Finally, it's time to talk about what a meticulous director has been doing since his last film. Let Them All Talk is an upcoming American comedy film, comedy drama film directed by Steven Soderbergh from a screenplay by Deborah Eisenberg. The film stars Meryl Streep, Diane West, Candice Bergen, Lucas Hedges, and Gemma Chan. A celebrated author who takes a journey with some old friends to have some fun and heal old wounds as her nephew comes along to wrangle the ladies and find himself involved with a young literary agent. Now, there may not be a whole lot to talk about here in terms of plot, but there is quite a bit, in fact. The film is directed by Steven Soderbergh, and if you don't know who that is that he's directed some very interesting films. He struck it big time, and you guys need to pay attention here. He struck it big time with his very first film, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which I own and have seen. I have it on Criterion. Winning the Palme d'Or at the 1989 Cannes Film Festival in France at 26 years old. Yeah, that's pretty damn incredible to do at that age. And yeah, when you have that happen, your life is pretty much set after that. And those aren't the only films. He's directed Traffic, Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, Solaris, Magic Mike, yes, the stripper movie with Channing Tatum, Side Effects, and Logan Lucky. Some of the other films that he's directed are really hit or miss, but the ones that I've seen are listed are very well done. Most of Soderbergh's films are anchored by multi-dimensional storylines and plot twists, non-linear storytelling, experimental sequencing, suspenseful soundscapes, and third-person vintage points. In layman's terms, Soderbergh doesn't really tell a story from beginning to end. Sometimes he'll shoot a scene and then it will jump cut to an ending of an act in the middle, with the middle at the end. And sometimes he mixes and matches what you think would be a beginning of an act, but they would actually put the middle of the end of it with the beginning somewhere else. However, not really taking away much from the overall flow of the movie so that the narrative, the story isn't so confusing, but just interesting enough to make sure that what you're getting makes sense and that the plot point isn't revealed too early but not too late. Now, as for the film itself, I can see how some people can be turned off by it because it kind of seems like a romantic comedy. But given that the film has been getting mad reviews and that much of the dialogue was improvised by the cast, and Soderbergh shot the film using natural light and little equipment aboard the Queen Mary 2, that's the ship, I believe, that is in Britain, the production of this film is already interesting indeed. So we'll see how it pans out. The film releases on December 10th on HBO Max. Naka, Krüz, what do you have to say?
I mean, for a plot-wise, I don't think it's the strongest film ever made, but from a cinematography-wise, and from a writing perspective, I think it's going to do well in that aspect. I don't know. I don't know. It's... all these films just... they kind of start blending together after a while, but that's because I'm a plebeian and not a film buff.
And also, well, I mean, it's fucking Meryl Streep. It's like...
I'm gonna say the same thing that I've always said for years. Meryl Streep could play a janitor in the background and get nominated for an Oscar. Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
it's Oscar bait.
Yeah. I also just saw my dad. I guess my parents were watching the Iron Lady on I guess on their. I don't know on service, but they're on Roku, which obviously features Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep
also,
as what?
Also, I just have to say, fuck Margaret Thatcher. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever you think about her, is like she definitely brought them back from the brink for better and for worse. As someone who might have supported the Conservative Party, it's like for better and worse. It's like, you know what, a lot of shit happened during her reign, but I think that's what the Iron Lady is meant to represent. Like, she went through a lot, she experienced a lot, and a lot happened under her reign as Margaret Thatcher. Yeah, that's the most recent memory of film that I have for this one. I'm like, I don't know, not really up my alley, but it's definitely going to get a lot of interest to it because, you know, a lot of people love Meryl Streep, and if she's the lead role, then yeah, it's kind of like, it's not quite Oscar bait. We don't know yet, but it has the potential to be Oscar bait.
I mean, it does kind of look a little Oscar bait. I mean, you have, I mean, don't get me wrong, Steven Soderbergh has worked with Meryl Streep before, but, you know, there's a difference between working with her and then working with her in a film that could be considered very high class art, a work of art. And Steven Soderbergh knows how to shoot a film. He has his own style. He has his own amazing style. And I think that's what it works. And if you guys haven't seen Logan Lucky, you need to check that film out. Logan Lucky is fantastic.
I saw that film. That was a great time.
Oh, you liked it?
Uh-huh.
You did see that film. Wow. I mean, I was really surprised because I knew it had something to do with racing, but more so racing in the background. But yeah, I heard it's really, really good. So, you know, Steven Soderbergh, he's a great director, guys. If you ever get the chance to see more of his films, I would highly recommend you do so. Now that is for the week ahead, and thank God, because I barely had anything to talk about with most of these films. They just were not that interesting to me, guys. I'm sorry. Hopefully, I'm hoping for a better week next week. Anyway, we are going to move on to our coming attractions, and we only have very few.
Good.
I have a little bit of right. I have a little bit to talk about with a I guess you could say with a certain thing that needs to be addressed at the very end, but we'll talk about it later. The marksman, a rancher on the Arizona border, becomes the unlikely defender of a young Mexican boy desperately fleeing the cartel assassins who have pursued him into the U.S. Yeah, this film looks very, I don't want to say bad, but also very relevant to today's standards.
It's a Liam Neeson movie. I mean, tell you for what it is. Liam Neeson is a career action hero. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it reminds me of something else where somehow this guy comes across it's a Mexican boy who his sister has been sold into sex slavery, and they're trying to rescue her from it. It wasn't taken. No, it wasn't taken. No, it was not taken.
Sure?
Liam Neeson was not in the movie I'm thinking of. But
All right.
Yeah, this, you want an action movie, you'll get what you get. Liam Neeson, you know what to expect, I guess. What I was meaning is that the movie, I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't remember what it was called, but it was this. It starts in Mexico, I believe, where a family, the younger sister of the family, was abducted, and then all the shit went down. But yeah, this looks like a pretty archetypical Liam Neeson action movie. Looked interesting, but we'll see how it goes.
I remember when Taken 2 came out, and a lot of people said, "Yeah, Taken to the paper shredder." But I mean, what do you expect from a heist movie where it's just poorly received? And granted, I think Liam Neeson definitely needs a better career. All he's ever done is played action heroes, and I'm sorry,
he's done it well though. But I mean,
he's done it well, but it's like it's getting to a point where, okay, when is he too old
to do it?
Well, it's not just that.
I get that.
When is he gonna play in the next Schindler's List? You know what I mean? Because Schindler's List is a great fucking.
I don't know if there's going to be a next Schindler's List. That's the thing.
No, an equivalent. You know what I'm talking about? I know.
I don't know if there's going to be a
Not
next
really,
one. For that.
Come on. Not a next Schindler's List, but other thing. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's move on. The Dig. An archaeologist embarks on the historically important excavation of Sutton Hoo in 1938. Good night, Carrie.
I mean,
yeah,
cool.
not much to say regarding this one. It looks cool at the very least. It's just there's not much for me to talk about here. I mean, it looks like an archaeology film. Naka, Krüz.
I mean, cool.
Krüz.
Cool.
It does look cool. The other thing is that might be a little bit more involved than people might give it credit for. But yeah, when you find an ancient Viking ship in your fucking backyard, you're like, okay, this is important. And yes, the Vikings, we do know, did make contact, at least in Scotland and all that. But
let's move on to our next.
Good cast.
Let's not move on to this next one. Can we skip it, please?
The French.
We can't skip it.
Yes, we can.
About it. I'm not going to skip it. We're gonna move on to. No, I'm not.
You know why you're gonna skip it? Because I can do
why?
this.
No, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I have the power. No, I'm kidding.
Like, get the
Come
keyboard
back.
ready. Like,
Come back.
literally, like, put your keyboard away. Put your keyboard on. I'm not even kidding. We're going to talk about The Boss Baby, Family Business. The story continues with the two main characters who have grown up, who must now become young again to defeat a villain who's inspiring babies to behave badly. So,
it's almost like they're solving the problem that they caused.
So
Wow.
the fact of the matter is that like it really surprised me that the original film got nominated for Best Animated Feature. But it also surprises me how many adults took their children to see this piece of garbage. I'm not even joking.
Why do their children want to see it?
I'm not even
That's
joking.
the mystery.
I'm not even joking. When I was working at the movie theater, there were so many people going to see Boss Baby. I was just like, oh.
But why do the kids want to see it?
And don't get me wrong, kids, you know, they beg their parents to go see the movie because it's something they want to see. It's something that the adults want to keep their kids quiet. I get it. It's just there's better films out there to show your kids. But like I said, I can't tell you how to raise your kids. I am not qualified to even talk about that sort of thing. It's just I really wish that adults would give their kids better material to work with, and it's fine. I'm not saying they're committing a sin, but I am saying we
had better cartoons when we were growing up.
Exactly. So, I mean, but even still, we've been a lot okay with more than what we think. But anyway, The Boss Baby, family business. If you want to go see it, take your kids to go see it. Great. Take
your kids. They don't need this garbage in their life.
I'm not.
You're just
we're not
doing
gonna go
your
that
kids
far.
a disservice.
We're not going to go that far. It's just
to be a parent.
we're not going to go that far. It's just there's better things to show your kids. There really is. Anyway, at least in my opinion. Anyway, we're going to move on to our final coming attraction of the night, the Mauritanian. A detainee in the U.S. military's Guantanamo Bay detention center is held without charges for over a decade and seeks help from a defense attorney for his release. So, I saw this trailer, and I don't know about you guys, but this is how you shoot a trailer. Yeah. It looks phenomenally well done. I don't know about you guys, but it stars Jodie Foster. It stars these other characters. What do you guys think? Naka Krüz?
Looks pretty good, but, you know, the whole plot of, you know, somebody's been held in Gitmo for 10 years without charges, that shows you really how well the U.S. government works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very, I want to say, like, super politically charged. I mean, you could say this was super charged, like, 10 years ago, but very much, like, there's good and bad to it. There's good in, like, providing security to the place that we live, and there's bad in the detainment of people who are at minimum suspected, but also somehow connected to terrorist acts, and they don't get due process, and that's an issue in and of itself. And I'll take what I said from not I said, but from what Boosie Badger himself said. His job is, even if he's defending someone who he doesn't like, it's like
I have a job to do.
Yeah, his job is to make the state prove its case. He doesn't have to prove the person innocent. He has to make the state prove its case. And that's kind of where we're at with this. It's like you have to make the United States government prove its case. And very dramatically shot. Don't know how the movie itself is going to go, but it does look like it's very well done. Good introspective thing about the U.S. and how, you know, a lot of people are like, how the U.S. is maybe the bad guy. You know, who fucking cares? U.S. Yeah, we've done the U.S. has done a lot of bad things. There's no question in that. This is like, there's people who have been improperly handled, have not, as I said, gone through due process, and that in and of itself is a problem, because that's a right that's guaranteed to Americans. Americans, anyone is penalized under the judicial system and all that.
Yeah, of course. So, you know, it looks like an interesting film. It looks like an interesting time. So there is, not much else to say regarding this. Krüz, Naka, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. All right, so we have one more thing we want to talk about, one more trailer rather. There was a teaser that came out, but I didn't decide to put it in because it wasn't an actual official trailer. Because why the hell am I going to put a teaser in front of it? Because it just, it's just there's no plot, there's no substance. I need more than that. There was a teaser trailer that came out called it is a live action version of Clifford the Big Red Dog. I mean, do you really want me to be angry about Clifford the Big Red Dog in live action? It is literally it's literally a film based off a children's book and a children's television program. I mean,
I'm more curious as to what it looks like.
I am so angry that the Clifford the Big Red Dog live action is existing. Like, do you know how silly I sound right now?
The fuck? What does it even look like? I don't even know what to be angry about anymore.
Exactly.
Ooh, I don't give a shit about this film.
Anyway, we'll talk about Clifford the Big Red Dog. If in case you guys are forgetting about this particular trailer, you can go watch it on YouTube. It's on YouTube, but there's not much to say. It's literally a big red dog licking the screen. There's nothing else for me to say. That's literally what it is. Either way, that is it. That is our show for tonight. So is there anything else we want to talk about when it our agenda for tonight? Is there anything else we want to talk about? Anything else we want to discuss?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Really? You're tired?
Yeah.
I think we got it.
I'm tired and I'm hungry.
Well, I was just gonna say if you guys haven't seen The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, you totally should. It's a very good series. I'm also watching The Simpsons on Disney Plus, so I'll give that a go.
And if you have Hulu, I do recommend Animaniacs 2020.
Oh, Animaniacs 2020 is fucking great, guys. You have to go see it. Krüz, you have to watch Animaniacs 2020. One of my favorite lines from Brain from Pinky and the Brain is basically, in politics, Pinky, lies are just facts that haven't been repeated enough yet. And if you don't believe that now, you will soon, because lies are just facts that haven't been repeated enough yet. So,
I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean, no, he isn't. He really isn't wrong. It's so true on so many different levels. But anyway, that's it. That is our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Not much else to say. I guess we move on to the final slide. And
yep. This has been our show.
Did it.
So we'll be back on the 12th, I believe.
13th.
Oh, 13th. 13th. You're right. 13th. We'll be back on the 13th, and we'll talk about stuff coming out around Christmas time. There's always something very, very interesting. There's a lot coming out next. Next week is going to be a very eventful week. Not much else to say regarding that. Yes, but I hope that you guys had a splendid time. We'll talk more next week. As always, my name is Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I am Krüz.
And this has been Subwoofer Entertainment. We hope that you have a great night, great rest of your night. Stay awesome, stay awesome, stay safe out there. Have a good night, guys.
Stay in milk, eat drugs, and don't try this at home.
Good night, baby.
See you later.